Have you ever had that feeling, that sense that your organization is just swimming, maybe even drowning in data, but you can't seem to find any of the really valuable insights? Well, you are definitely not alone. And today, we're going to talk about how to build the bridge from that data chaos to a real, tangible strategic advantage. So here's the game plan. We're going to start by digging into something I call the data paradox. Then we'll uncover the one missing ingredient that solves it, and we'll look at the core components you need to build it yourself. After that, we'll connect it all back to what really matters, business results, and we'll wrap up with a peek into the future of data.
Okay, so let's jump right into this paradox because I'm willing to bet it sounds pretty familiar. We are collecting more data right now than at any other point in human history. So my question is, does it feel like we're actually getting any smarter?
I just love this quote. It absolutely nails that feeling of frustration, doesn't it? Companies are pouring millions into gathering all this information, but that actionable aha moment always seems just out of reach. This isn't just a vibe, though. It points to a very real, very specific gap in how businesses operate. And there it is. That's the punchline. The reason for this huge disconnect, it's not because we don't have enough data. It's not even a lack of smart people. It's the absence of a coherent plan, a real strategy to connect all of that raw potential to actual business value. And look, the pressure to build this strategy is coming from everywhere. First, the sheer volume of data is just exploding. Then you've got all these complex new privacy regulations to deal with. And maybe most importantly, your competitors are probably already using their data to get ahead. Trying to fly blind without a strategy isn't just inefficient anymore, it's a massive, massive risk. Okay, so if strategy is the answer we're looking for, what does that word actually mean in this context? Let's get a super clear definition on the table. So here it is. And what I want you to notice here is the scope. Look at those verbs: collect, store, manage, share, and use. A real strategy covers that entire life cycle. And this is the most important part. It's all pointed toward one thing: achieving the organization's business objectives. And this is a really important clarification because this is where a lot of people get tripped up. A data strategy is not just a shopping list for new software, and it's not just a collection of cool-sounding analytics projects. It's the high-level framework that makes sure all those things are actually working together, pulling in the same direction for a common purpose. So, how can you tell if you've got a good one? Well, a truly effective strategy doesn't leave you guessing. It provides clear, concrete answers to some really fundamental questions. I mean, just think about these for a second. Who in your organization is actually responsible for making sure data is high quality? How are you even going to measure success? If you don't have good answers to questions like these, all your data efforts are just going to be reactive and scattered. A real strategy forces you to be deliberate about it. All right, so we get what a strategy is and why it's so critical. Now for the fun part. Let's get practical. What are the actual building blocks you need to construct one? A really solid, robust strategy is built on these 7 pillars. And the key thing to realize is that they're all connected. You can't have great analytics without good governance, and you can't have good governance if you don't have a clear vision. If even one of these pillars is weak, believe me, the whole structure is at risk of falling over. Now, this chart is so revealing. Just look at it. We tend to focus so much on the tech, right? The fancy tools, the new platforms, but success is overwhelmingly driven by people and process. Building a data-driven culture, getting people to think and act differently, that's literally half the battle. And a huge piece of that people puzzle is how you structure your teams. Do you put all your data experts in one central group to keep things consistent, or do you spread them out across the business so they're closer to the problems? It's this classic trade-off between control and agility, and it's why a lot of companies now are trying out hybrid models, hoping to get the best of both worlds. We've arrived at what is, without a doubt, the most important principle of this entire explainer. If you only remember one thing from our time together, please, make it this. And there it is, the golden rule. Data for data's sake is completely and utterly useless. Every single data initiative, every piece of technology you buy, it has to be directly tied to a business goal. If you can't clearly explain how a project is going to help the business make more money, save money, or make customers happier, you shouldn't be doing it, period. So here's the 4-step playbook for making that happen.
And it's not a one-time thing, it's a continuous loop. You start with the business goals, you find where data can actually help, you prioritize the things that'll have the biggest impact, and then, crucially, you measure your success using business metrics, not just techie ones.
So, to wrap things up, let's look to the future. A data strategy isn't some dusty document you write once and stick in a drawer. It's a living, breathing framework that has to evolve right alongside technology and the business itself. This timeline really captures just how much things have changed. Think about it. We've moved from looking in the rearview mirror with old reports to trying to look through the windshield with predictive insights. The whole field is shifting from being this rigid, top-down control function to a dynamic, value-creating partner in the business. And looking ahead, these are the big trends that every strategist has their eye on. Of course, there's deeper AI integration, but there's also stuff like data democratization, this huge push to get data and insights into everybody's hands, and edge computing, which is all about processing data right where it's created. Your strategy has to be ready for this future. And this really brings it all home. Let's be honest, every single organization on the planet has a data strategy. The only question is, for some, it's a messy, accidental, chaotic result of 1,000 different decisions. But for the really successful ones, it's a deliberate, intentional, coherent plan. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. In your organization, right now, is your data strategy deliberate or is it just an accident? The answer to that question tells you everything you need to know about your future.